After the launch of Bone Lab over 6 months ago, BONEWORKS has been becoming less and less popular. I've decided to revisit the game to give it the love it deserves before everyone gets back on Bone Lab. I awake in a subway cart that has just rolled into a train station. I face my fears, and in a brave act of courage, I step out of it. I am then matched with my biggest fear, a wet floor. In a clear act of defiance, the wet floor sign somehow managed to balance in this ungodly way. I snapped out of it and promptly killed the obvious cryptid and moved on. I then see a monument machine staring me on, as if to say, "You can't move on without me, you little baby. Come to daddy, I will give you all the guns you desire." I flip it off because mama didn't raise no bitch. After flipping a switch to move on, I turn the corner to see my frames drop faster than my will to live after my first experience, Bone Lab. No matter how framey this part of the game is, it is still incredibly beautiful, and is a part where I think BONEWORKS stands out against Bone Lab graphically. I move on down past a few stairs where I see a few train tickets laying on the floor. You know your boy had to take them. I would never give these evil transit companies any more of my cash. As my personal hero, Martin Luther King, once stated, "Get your money up, not your funny up." I progress down the stairs to the left. After dealing with a zombie, I absolutely snipe this other zombie right in the head with a lead pipe. I truly chose the wrong career path with a job that doesn't involve throwing. I should have instead become a drunk writer in his 30s, throwing ones at strippers in my spare time. Later on in my life, my wife, who resented me for my actions and failure to provide for the family, would take custody of my children. Homeless and depressed, I would die in the street due to a drug overdose in my 40s. Or baseball. Moving on, I go down the other path and am meted with a paper bag. I try to use it as a weapon against a zombie and it has no effect. Wow, I can't believe those origami ninja star YouTubers I would watch as a kid lied to me. I truly feel betrayed. Whilst battling the zombie, it opens a door to a room in which contains a yellow key. I promptly store it in my ass for later. I go back to the main area and put the key inside the hole. The hole in which it's supposed to be in, not the other one. Moving down, I find myself in a big scary room with a moving platform. I decide not to go near it for now, and instead find my way to this huge concrete and metal door. I wonder what secrets must be hidden in this room that they need to protect it with such an impenetrable barrier. A TV, a zombie, a button that opens a gate, a key, and a couple guns. I was expecting the nuclear launch codes, but I guess this works just as fine. I destroy the TV in which Alora was talking to me, because fuck Alora. I guess that was a bad idea, because when I tried to open the gate, her face flashed for a single frame. Clearly I'm being haunted, and I get out of there quick. I go back to the gate I opened earlier, and mowed down a few enemies. I turn around the corner and see a wall of merchandise. Like the true anti-monogod Chan I am, I destroy all their cups. That'll teach them not to do the things they do. Honestly, I'm not sure why Monogon is the bad guys. There's probably some clipboard hidden on a forged statue's ass or something that explains it, but I don't care enough to search for it. I keep going to find a door that leads to my own demise. I luckily avoided death this time, but you can never be too safe. I shoot the very obvious button staring me down from the other side of the room. When it appears, it does nothing. I start my action-filled adventure to go hit the button with my raging fist. I look and see that me shooting the button actually worked as intended and opened the door. This put me into a furious rage. We could have had the next Mission Impossible on our hands, BONEWORKS. We could have stretched this conflict out to 8 movies. But no, you just had to be the man. Fuck you, BONEWORKS. Anyway, I snapped out of it. In the end, like I always say, keep my mind on my money, not the wasted potential of a $1 trillion movie franchise on my mind. I head back to the moving platform and flip the switch to move forward. When I get to the end, I head to a room with a puffin crate in it. I try to open the crate with my crowbar, but it doesn't work. Wow, SLZ, this is not the physics action puzzle adventure you promised. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I go back and open the door to the next area where I'm greeted with a few zombies. Moving on, I get a weapon and a key from a room with a couple of crablets, and try my darndest to kill this turret. It is incredibly stubborn and decides not to die, so I just move past it. After killing a few zombies, I turn back and finish it off. Progressing through the room full of crablets, I find myself in a vent. I come across a forked path and decide to take the route to the right. This was not the right decision. After killing a few zombies, I move past the room to this corridor where I instantly get mowed down by a turret. The other turret I was able to kill just fine, but this one was really annoying. I decide to go back to the vent, but instead I go left. I make it to a room full of melon-infused nobodies. After killing them, instead of progressing to the next level, I decide to look beyond the garage door. I am then meted by my two greatest foes. I have them just where I want them. I caress one of the turret's hard shell, almost as if to tell it that it can't do shit anymore. I own it. I toy with it by fake pulling its death switch. You need to keep them on their toes. I finish it off as its friend tries to shoot me. I had just ended its best friend, its lover, its pride and joy. There was nothing it could do. I spawn in at the bottom of a huge tower. Eager to get started, I start moving towards the staircase in front of me. I then hear a whisper from behind me. I see a door. Wondering what delights could be hidden behind it, I move over to it and try to open it. I don't think it liked me trying to open very much, because A, it didn't open, and B, it started dissolving the world around me. I decide to escape while I still can. Moving up the stairs, I enter a room as this beautiful music kicks in. I kill the zombie in the room and take the key that's floating in this cool display. I walk out of the room to see and hear tons of enemies. After taking care of a few of them, I check my SteamVR performance. You know your boys at SLZ can't go a single level without halving my frames. I then notice that my cursor has been recording this whole time. I took care of that, so you guys don't have to look at a tumor on my screen for the rest of the video. I'm sorry about that, by the way. I move on to find an Omni projector killing a zombie when I'm literally right there. Honestly, I don't know if these guys are just stupid or if they really hate these zombies. I find guns lying around like they're pennies, and yet these guys still decide to focus on these brainless morons who just flail their arms. Anyway, while I struggle to get this key in the hole, there's a message from Jimmy.
Hey guys, it's me, Jimmy Wong from Bone Lab. Make sure to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the Hazzy YouTube channel.
Wow, thank you, Jimmy. Just to clarify, that was actually AI. I most certainly do not have Jimmy Wong captured in my basement. On the topic of AI, these AI voices have gone really nuts recently, to the point where this isn't even me talking right now. It's AI. Just kidding. Or am I? I find a red key being guarded by this zombie. I take care of him and put the red key in the door to enter a shop. My Bone Lab monkey brain tries to open this collectible by pulling it apart. To try and snap myself back to the BONEWORKS reality, I clip my hands through my body. Now, I'm back and ready to BONEWORKS. With my newfound green key, I look for the keyhole where I'm greeted with a heap of enemies. Where I think this level makes up for in its beauty, it really lacks in its enemy placement. They just kind of throw tons of enemies at you to fill up the empty space. I make my way to the green key room, where I absolutely nail this throw first try. After going up the stairs past the hover junker stuff, I find more enemies. I try to kill this zombie, not knowing that there's glass between us. This made me incredibly angry. So in the next room, I take my anger out on this dummy. Once I'm satisfied, I make my way to the room with the zombie. When I see the zombie, I realize I could have just taken my anger out on the zombie instead of that dummy. I think this is how sport mode got made. Clearly people want to kill dummies with 2 animations instead of fleshed out enemies. I am greeted with a puzzle that I have no intention to solve. SLZ did this with Bone Lab too. They put these physics puzzles that just completely do not matter because you can skip them so easily. After killing the guests of this fine here establishment, something hit me. What lives were these fellas living? There's zombies drinking, talking, and there's even a bartender. What am I disrupting here? Anyway, I go on to destroy their entire supply. True gamers don't drink. I'd rather crack open a cold can of Ultra Immersion. I find myself in another staircase. After I get to the top, I am given an AR and a pistol. It's time to bone. In the end, BONEWORKS is still a great game. Even after playing BoneLab, there's still good reasons to play BONEWORKS. Unfortunately, Quest users can't play BONEWORKS natively. But there is a BoneLab port of BONEWORKS' campaign called LabWorks, and I urge every Quest user watching this video to check it out. After all that's been said, maybe the true BONEWORKS was the friends we made along the way.